What is the great benefit of bringing ICE to this town? The great benefit, they are going to have access. They are going to have access to what? To the database. Oh, they are going to have access to the database? That's justification? Then tell me, Chief of Police, what do you know about this database? What is the answer? He does not know anything about the database. I never saw, I was never trained, and I don't know anything about database. Let me tell you, Mr. L. Baker, we have no need for the database from ICE. When people are caught on these streets, when the ICE brings the doors down in people's house, and they bring them to the police department, those people in 3 or 4 hours, they are in Hartford, they are in Rhode Island, or they are in Massachusetts. And believe me, they are subjected to the database from ICE. The local police does not need. That is not a benefit. They don't have a cause, they don't have a justification, and they do not have a benefit. This is witch hunting of a man that wants to promote himself politically. But believe me, this is going to be his own suicide, political suicide. Because we have the voice. He was elected in this town by what percentage? 10% of the vote. That is a big problem. They were elected by what percentage of the Americans that could vote in the elections? 19%. That is the problem. They do not represent 80 or 90% of the population of the residents in the city of Danbury. That is the big problem. It's a huge problem. He does not represent us. He does not have the emotion, the sense about us. He does not know anything about anything. It's about time now, and now that we have the business people, we have the town residents united, we are going to move forward, and we are going to win. We have been losing battle after battle, but the war is going to be won by us, because this is our town. This is not Mark Fountain's town, this is our town. We should pray to God. We should be very thankful that we have the immigrants in this town. And it's not their fault that there are no ways to become legal. It's the Congress of the United States that is at fault. And we should apply our energies. All the public officials should apply the energies and should shake Joseph Lieberman and Christopher Dodd and all the congressmen of the United States, because it's at their fault since April 30th, 2001, that they have no immigration laws that allows people to apply and become legal.
The business owners are frustrated, and this is the first time they have to come out to express their frustration to the American media. People are feeling that the immigrant community is being demonized because of lack of accurate information on the struggles that immigrants have as they're trying to become legal. There's a big misinformation out in the media that paints legal immigrants and undocumented immigrants and leave a huge gray area in the middle. The American media is not doing its job in letting the general public know that once a person applies for their legalization papers through marriage or even through work sponsorship, even when ICE and immigration when immigration sends them a letter saying they accepted their petition, and they have that petition in their hand saying that this government has accepted the fact that they want to stay here legally. If ICE comes into town and this person is in a place where an arrest warrant is being served, that person with only a letter that gives them an alien number from the American government can also be gone. So the number one reason why we're here gathered today is that even those who are trying to do the things the right way, we're not here to discuss legalities. We're not immigration lawyers. We are people who have, however, better than immigration lawyers. We have gone through the system. I myself, I know exactly what it takes to have a green card. I know exactly what it takes and how long you have to wait. And this is why we're here today, because we know that a lot of people are caught in the middle. A lot of people, even they're trying to do the right thing by what people are accusing us of not trying to do, because they have no idea of how long it takes. Ask any immigration lawyer, Cynthia Exner, if you can ask Michael Boyle, they will tell you that the average wait period for a work sponsorship is 4 to 7 years. And that's if you have an amazing lawyer and you have an amazing sponsor. because sponsors have to have their tax life completely breaking down to show that they can actually support an employee from a foreign country. It's not an easy process. The immigration process is broken. It's broken and the community is suffering. And we understand that municipalities are frustrated, but this is not the right way. There's many ways that we can deal with this problem as a community. Now I want to call Renata Morale, who's the owner of R&M Insurance, and she's going to speak about how the ICE Access Program is going to affect the business community.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Thank you, the community and the papers, to come in and listen to what we have to say. My name is Renata Amaro, and I arrived here 21 years ago. It took me 9 years to become a legal resident of the United States. Why? Because there was never any programs that allowed me to be able to become legalized. Luckily, I was the owner of a little application that gave me a lottery access to an immigration law that passed, and I was picked. Everybody tells me that I'm a lotto winner. Yes, I am. This is how I became a legal alien. A few years later, I had the opportunity to become a citizen. I went all the way to that. I pledged allegiance to the United States of America. I stand by what this country believes. I don't stand by what immigration and what the laws are doing here. You do need to choose between a good approach to answer to the immigration problems. ICE Access isn't one of them. We need to have something that's holistic, that can give people a right to citizenship, something that allows people to be able to become citizens, to be able to become legal aliens. People don't migrate because they want to come here and become criminals like the mayor thinks we all are. People come to the States because they're desperate, they're starving, they need to help their families. This is actually very emotional, even though we try not to. Emotions don't really help here. But we didn't come here to break the law. We came here to give our families a better chance in life.
Do you think the members of the Common Council should see the Memorandum of Understanding before even considering voting into this proposal?
That goes without saying. Everybody here believes they're actually going a step further. They believe that even with the Memorandum of Understanding, even if we do go through the information, that they're seeing there is going to be a negative economical impact. And that's the message here. All the frustration that you're hearing, all the emotion from all the members of the business community, that's exactly what they're saying. They're fearing for their own businesses. These are people who have come to this country and put their whole life savings, they've put their efforts and their work into their businesses. And they have always thought that they'd welcome them here. And you have to understand, this is not melodramatic Latinos saying, oh my gosh, look what's going on to me, or people in the immigrant community. We care for our own people. I'm not, just because I have a green card or someone else is a citizen, that doesn't mean that we're going to look down on people who don't. They are our clients. We respect them as people, as everyone in humanity should. These are human beings. So if something's being done to them, yes, now we have come together and organized ourselves to speak out. Because unfortunately, the misinformation is making it appear that this is a witch hunt. Although the information is not being disseminated in the right way, that's what people are feeling like, unfortunately.
Okay, I love your question, and I'm sorry I forgot to talk about that. Okay? And yeah, that's extremely important. That's probably one of the most important points about the last meeting. This is the flag of the misunderstanding, of the lack of responsibility of the Common Council. Common Council, I think, is Colleen Stanley. She made a statement. This is a matter of micro-administration of the police. And that's amazing to me. What the matter is so important, the illegal immigration in the USA, for the city of Danbury, that is going to bring ICE, or the agents of terror, if you want to call them that way. How can she feel that it's micro-police administration? How can these elected officials, 21 elected officials, turn their back on the document without looking at the detail? I am not very well educated, but I learned in school that a comma, a period, may change the meaning of the whole sentence. If there are some things that are unfortunate, or somebody did not see a sentence, but they do not want to take a look at the details, and as the Americans say, the evil is on the detail. And how can they turn their backs on the details of the contract? To me, it's amazing, and that is the best example of the lack of consideration, understanding that they have for this community. Do not forget that Dunkin' Donuts wants to have one more drive-through. And what they are asking for? An economic impact. And the two houses, one to the left, one to the right. That's amazing. What economic impact? What study of economic impact have they done about 70 or 80,000 people and their own lives? How can they turn back? How can they turn their backs on the details of the contract that is so important to so many lives, economically, socially, culturally, and so many ways? And I'm very glad that you asked the question, because again,
What does ICE access do that the present laws can't do?
their justification is about they are going to have access to the database from ICE. And again, to me, that's an absurd. They grab people on the street. The attorney was saying, well, if you throw a paper on the ground, it's a social infraction. If you commit a crime like using different, punching somebody, it's a crime. Then people are grabbed on the streets. They have knocks at their doors without even throwing a paper on the ground. Okay?
Well, Mr. We have to also be aware that there is a certain process that ICE does. And the problem is that we understand that they come in with search warrants sometimes, and then they ask for, let's say, a Jane Doe in an apartment. If the Jane Doe is not there and everybody else is inside that apartment, doesn't happen to have the green cards, all the other people are taken, and that's what we call collateral arrests. As far as the ICE partnership with the training of the police officers, it's very hard to understand how they're going to act when we know that there hasn't been given information, detailed information, because of the lack of the MOU on how many officers and how that's going to be operated. We understand that Chief Baker has already made public comments on how that's going to be done, but that's just speculation. Without the memorandum of understanding, knowing as a hard, cold fact of what's going to be done, it's very difficult to make that decision. And we understand that there is crime in Danbury, but there's just a report in the News Times saying that the crime has dropped in January. It's not a question of every single crime in the city. It's not being committed by immigrants. And we cannot, every community has a 10% rule. And I had American friends who always tell me this saying, every community has a 10% rule. 10% of any group is just not going to be up to a lot of good things. So I think it's very unfortunate to use crime, to use gang activity in Danbury. There's no gang activity in Danbury that we know of. We're business owners. If there's gang activities, they'll be hitting us up for something. We know that unfortunately, these are tactics that are being used to sort of demonize immigrants in general by erasing the line between immigrants and human beings, making them all sound like they're not something that's wanted here. Just in the last summer, Glenn Beck, a radio talk personality, went on the radio and said that he had a one-step solution to solve the energy problem and the immigration problem. And Glenn Beck said that the solution would be to create maxi fuel, using the bodies of Mexicans, burning them up as fuel for cars. This is the demonization of immigrants that's going on in the media. This is what we're standing up against. We're human beings. And unfortunately, the anti-immigrant groups, they humanize immigrants, so it's easy for the general population to make an erroneous decision of what immigrants are for our community.